on LBC.
Talking about the big vote tomorrow, we've got lots of guests today. I can't tell you we've struggled to get hold of Labour MPs. They say they'll come on, then they won't come on. They're under a lot of pressure, of course, Labour MPs, to not support this deal tomorrow. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, there's a threat. I don't know if it's going to happen. The Labour MPs, if they do back the deal, will be kicked out of the party. Boris Johnson did something very similar with Tory MPs. 21 lost the whip, including 2 former chancellors. High pressure, high stakes stuff. Let's talk to Stephen Lynch, who's used to work for Tory HQ and worked on Sajid Javid's leadership campaign during the leadership campaign and was at Tory HQ during the referendum. Stephen, how is Boris going to sell this tomorrow if it goes wrong and it's not and he doesn't win?
Well, that's a great question to start with, Andrew. I'm one of these people who've been looking at the way MPs are lining up on either side, and I'm quite sceptical that the deal will pass, actually. I dislike making predictions of this nature, but if you were to ask me this evening, I suspect the deal will probably lose quite narrowly, perhaps in single digits. But that in itself is not a loss for Boris Johnson, because what it would then do, it would allow him to turn to the country and to say, you know, with a degree of credibility and plausibility, that he has done his level best to strike a new deal with the EU that more people in his party can support and get behind. And if it does go down tomorrow, then it will strengthen his calls for a general election, which, you know, we can expect the opposition parties to continue blocking.
And what of the idea then, though, Stephen? He'll have to sign that letter to the European Union seeking an extension when he said he'd rather die in a ditch than do that. Will we have to start looking in ditches around the Houses of Parliament?
Well, Boris has since said that he will, of course, adhere to the law here. And in the Scottish court case, in the documents that were provided to them, they said that the government would, of course, if they were required to by law, if the Benn Act kicks in, that they would send a letter. There could be a number of options available to Boris in addition to that, though. So, for example, getting a member state to veto extension. So Hungary is one of the countries that's been mentioned as potentially doing that. And you'll also have heard Leo Varadkar, Jean-Claude Juncker and others in the European Commission who have been pouring cold water on this idea that the UK should have another pointless extension, frankly. And so I'm among the people, Andrew, who want to see this deal go through tomorrow. I hope it will go through, you know, with as much support as possible, but I feel like it's going to be very, very tight. I feel like a lot of your guests have probably shared the sentiment that we need to move on to this next phase. We need to progress and start talking about the free trade agreement, which is going to be probably even more contested and controversial, sadly, than this first phase.
All right, Stephen, thank you for that. That's Stephen Lynch, worked with Sajid Javid on his leadership campaign and was at CCHQ during the referendum. Let's see if we can squeeze in another call.